Hey traders, this is Kazavini coming to you on the 25th of March with a quick look at a few charts going into this week. This is the ES and the last few weeks of trading. Okay, we can see that we're trading at 1397 presently in this descending small channel that I noted on Thursday and Friday that I was looking at, as well as this trend line that was holding prices for some time. Zooming out a bit, I'm looking at the 127 extension. If we continue to move higher out of this little flag, or move down to the 50% level, which is right here at 1372.73, okay, which is what I've been pointing out for the last couple of days. I do note that we came down to the 618. The other thing I noticed was these shadows on these candles here, okay, where sellers lost conviction, okay, and buyers stepped in and brought the prices back up. Okay, we had several candles like that. Many of these candles here also have lower shadows, so we do have buyers coming in, and something I'll be watching for this week as well. So we did come out down and test the 618. Okay, and I'm presently thinking that we could possibly move higher. If we move above the 100% level, this high at 1408, I'm looking at the 127 extension as a first target. The other thing I've been watching is this particular trend line that's held in place, okay, that playing out here as such, okay. So I'm watching these lows here. I was watching for this to move down to the 50% level and tag this area here at this lower trend line. Okay, it could that still could play out, so I do have that on my radar. Looking at the Ichimoku version of this particular chart, I have noted that Tenkan-sen is containing price and moving higher, and Kijun-sen is down here below price, down at the 50% retracement level, and that cloud over here, the Kumo, is continuing to move higher. Okay, Chiku is above prices, so this is all bullish until which case either this moves up or Chiku moves down and hits price, which would tend to be support and a possible bounce, okay, which would coincide with my thinking as far as 50% retracement. But for now, looking like Tenkan-sen is holding price and we're moving higher. The other thing I posted on Chartly, StockTwits, was this particular chart where I've been watching this trend line going back to 2009, March, okay, where we got QE1, this being QE2, and the subsequent move in prices, okay. Also the trend line of these lows that I've been paying attention to for the possibility of retest that coincides with these highs back in 08. Alright, no Bollinger Bands are continuing to expand. The lower Bollinger Band, alright, is flattening out. So this, if this lower Bollinger Band turns up, it just means the price could continue to grind up higher. Okay. Note the 10 period and the upper Bollinger Band. As long as we stay in between those two, this is the weekly, by the way, we're looking fine. We close below the 10 period, that would be a first sign that we could top. For now, we continue to move higher. So looking at the Ichimoku, same thing I pointed out on the ES, so there's nothing different here on the daily. Okay, one of the positions that I'm in is potash. Okay, I'm looking at this channel, ascending channel that we've been trading in, as well as this upper trend line of a larger pattern that we tested, okay, connecting those highs that we tested last week on Thursday, Friday. Okay, we're still holding this level. We're at the top of the Kumo, and I'm expecting this to move higher. Okay, Chiku is caught up in price, but if we could move up and get up into this area, I think we'd be fine. Okay, I'm thinking what the fertilizers have been doing over the past week. I've had this since a swing on Friday previous to last week. Okay, so on 316 is when I first noticed this volume picking up, and a post on StockTwits pointing out that CF, MON, MOS, Potash, and AGU are all moving on pretty large volume early in the morning. So we got in at 44.05, and although we were in the middle of the cloud, because of the volume, I was watching the standard chart. Okay, and watching that channel. So my target is this upper channel line. If we do hit the Bollinger Band here and move lower, I wouldn't be surprised there either. But I do have a higher target here based on the width of this channel. I'm also in Newmont. I got in this later than many of you did. Okay, I was watching this lower trend line. Okay, and watching for some sort of indication that we might be able to bounce. Okay, I was watching the Kumo, the fact that we're underneath the Kumo. This was a bearish pattern. Okay, longer term this was moving lower. Okay, but because Kumo is getting further away and we have Tekkensen right here, I was thinking that we could eventually start to mean revert and get back up to somewhere in this range here. So we got some range where we can move higher. I have the April 55s currently, and I believe I have an average of 88 cents on those. Okay, so they were trading anywhere from 85 to 95 on Friday, I believe. I was noticing this little channel down here that Johnny had pointed out. Okay, I'm looking for this price to move above that. Let's take a look at the 60 minute. 60 minute, we hit the Kumo and bounced off of it, which wasn't surprising. Okay, Tekkensen and Kijisen they're both below price, and Chiku is getting stuck in price action here, which is not unusual. The thing about Ichimoku, if I haven't pointed this out before, is that you have to pay attention to the Kumo in front, which is actually a projection of these prices, okay, into the future. So that's one of the things I really like about Ichimoku, is that it gives you an idea of where price needs to be in order to break through this cloud. Okay, but it's also a projection forward, 26 periods on the span A and 52 periods on span B. Okay, that's why they cross over from time to time if you watch the chart where it passes over in places like this. Okay, so keep that in mind. The other thing about Ichimoku, which many people don't mention, is Tekkensen is actually 9 periods where it considers the day high and the day low, and it takes half of that. So what that tells you is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These prices, half of this one and all the other 9 candles. Okay, and then it plots a line. The thing that is different about that from the standpoint of a standard chart is that standard charts are based solely on closing prices. Okay, so the significance of that with Ichimoku is that it figures in the volatility, okay, which is a really cool feature in my opinion. Okay, so keep that in mind. Rewind this and listen to that a couple of times if you didn't get it, but it's a very interesting thing about Ichimoku. That's why I use both chart types now when I'm doing my analysis or in a trade. This is Apple, although I'm not in it, the daily Ichimoku chart. Also have overlaid between this pivot and this pivot high the 127 extension, which I note is up here at the 636 level. Okay, this is still a very bullish pattern. Could price come down and touch the Tekkensen here? Yes, it could very well do that. The 382 level. Okay, 50% retracement on this particular pattern would be this level here at 565, 564. Okay, so keep that in mind. I'm currently not in Apple. Google above the Kumo. Not a whole lot here. And this is more, when you get stuck in that Kumo like this, it's, pretty much sideways action. PCLN, that's really bullish, doing quite well. Chiku is just in the stratosphere. And we were joking about which one of these, Apple or PCLN, would actually hit 700 first, and obviously PCLN just took off last week. So let's look at a couple other ones. Qualcomm, notice Johnny was in this on Friday. I really liked what I saw here at the end of the day. Okay, note the Kumo is continuing to move higher. Tekkan Sen held price on Friday. Okay, and we created this little hammer up here, so we basically have this little flag pattern. Okay, looking very strong. I'm watching for stocks into this week that will start seeing volume, and you'll see fund managers making their portfolios look better with window dressing. Okay, this last week. So if you get into a stock that has a lot of momentum during the week, my advice is to take profits towards the end of the week, Thursday or so, because when we get to the end of the month, obviously the window dressing will be over, and then it'll be a new quarter and a new month that they'll be looking towards. So don't get stuck in the positions that happen to move something like this going into the end of the week. Take your profits, and let's regroup on Monday next week, the 2nd actually, and we'll see what's rotating in on Mutual Fund Monday. Okay. All right, that pretty much has it for me. You know what? Let's look at Russell, which is looking pretty good. This is still bullish. This is above the cloud, above Kumo. Bounced off of Kijisen last week. Note that Chiku is right here in price, but it's starting to move back up, which would be a very bullish sign for the Russell 2000 if you're trading it. Let's look at the Qs, the comp. Okay, they're looking pretty good. You see sellers lost conviction at the end of the day, and we had a nice bounce off the Tekkan Sen. Kumo is continuing higher. Chiku is above price. This still looks bullish. What else do we want to look at? Let's look at the dollar. Okay. Note that on the daily we're stuck inside of Kumo, but the Tekkan Sen is headed down. Anything could happen during the week, obviously, but we're stuck in the cloud and all this mess here. So this is actually not good for the dollar and more bearish than it is bullish. And one could argue this is actually neutral, so the fact that it's stuck in the cloud. Let's look at DBV, the Currency Harvest Fund. Oh, that's really nice. Notice that we're right above Kumo. This is all bullish action. We're above the Kumo. We have Chiku dip down through price, but has found support right around Tekkan Sen. I would expect this to bounce higher. If it does, excuse me, this is bullish for stocks. Okay, so note that the Kumo has turned, and look for this to move back up. Okay, let's also look at copper. Let's look at TOS actually. Technically, this is a little bearish, being below the cloud, which led me to get out of Freeport McMoran after I made that nice play on the puts, okay, early in the week. And last week, actually, was it 2 weeks ago? I forget. It was just this candle here, so it was 2 weeks ago. But this continues to be bearish. This is a bearish pattern. Okay, we broke down below this trend line. Could we come back up and touch this trend line? Sure, we could come up, and we should have resistance at this Kumo here. But for the time being, we're sort of in limbo, so I'm not even trading this particular position. Note where Chiku is right now, stuck right in the cloud. Could bounce here, but it would encounter resistance if it got to price again up here. Right? So that's pretty much it for the week. Remember, you have your targets. If we make it above 1408, we got the 127 extension. If we trail off of this and lose Tekkan Sen, we could come back down and check the Kijisen down here at the 50% level, which would be the lower part of that descending pattern that I was looking at. Okay, so this is one target, this is the other. It's Cousin Benny coming to you on the weekend, the 25th of March. Take care, and we'll see you in the room.